to spark your creative imagination. Now, let's begin. As an artist, the blank page can be your greatest enemy. Sitting down to write or draw or paint or sculpt or play or otherwise create can feel entirely overwhelming when you're starting from zero. Rather than trying to force the delivery of new work, you can instead develop a process made up of exercises to spark your creative imagination. These habits are art for the sake of the process alone, with no specific end goal necessarily in mind. They can get the creative juices flowing so that when you turn to create your next masterpiece, well, you're already free and open and inspired. By experimenting with various creative exercises, you can take the pressure off of yourself to develop your serious work and instead to rediscover the joy of art for art's sake. Ironically, in doing so, you may inadvertently spark the idea that leads you down a pathway to creative achievement. So, without further ado, here are 10 exercises to help you pull yourself out of a creative rut. Number 1. Answer a writing prompt. You don't need to dive straight into your next article or story or novel when you sit down to write. Instead, try using a predetermined prompt. There are a myriad of books and websites available to get you started. Here are a few examples. Write about your favorite food, but don't just say pizza and be done with it. Dig into details. Where did you first discover it? Who were you with, and what did it taste like? How do you prepare it, and what does it remind you of? Or if you're looking to get outside of yourself, describe a world where shoes were never invented. Now you have the freedom to invent a whole new society. You can experiment with the literal, such as what objects or materials would people use to keep their feet protected if not shoes? Or instead explore the fantastical. What wild architectural developments might come about if people were moving through the world totally barefoot? A writing prompt may very well lead to the plot of your next short story, your stage play, or your novel. Number 2. Try free writing. You don't always need a specific prompt or assignment to write. Free writing involves producing a few daily pages of stream of consciousness writing that are totally unstructured. The more that your brain practices writing consistently, no matter what, the more you'll unlock your creativity. Just set pen to paper and write about the very first thing that comes to your mind. And don't worry about how minor or ridiculous it might seem. Just see where your wandering thoughts take you. Some writers suggest free writing with your non-dominant hand. It feels awkward at first, but some think it may help unlock creativity by activating a different part of your brain. It also forces you to focus on exactly what you're writing, since each letter is a lot harder and it requires more intention to jot down. Number 3. Write a 6-word story. Ernest Hemingway made this one famous with his devastating 6-word story, For Sale, Baby Shoes, Never Worn. Those 6 words, which don't even make up a complete sentence, speak volumes and indicate an entire world of hope, pain, and loss. Hemingway was well known for his concise sentences, even in his longer works. His less is more mentality can be applied to your own work and could be a wonderful exercise for you, especially if you find your writing is sometimes too meandering or verbose. There is a 6-word story hashtag on social media where other people share their stories and provide creative prompts, including images and sounds, to get you started. Placing such limits or constructs on yourself can make you more creative as you start to go to extravagant lengths to fulfill the prompt. And the 6-word story prompt in particular encourages you to use each word to maximum effect. So you just may see your vocabulary start to improve. Number 4. Draw inspiration from images. No, it's not plagiarism to simply draw inspiration from others. Sometimes our best and most original ideas can be sparked by viewing someone else's art. If you're feeling stuck, then head to your local art gallery to see what other artists are working on, or search online for beautiful or interesting images. If you're a writer, you can use an image or a photograph as a writing prompt for your next session. Write a story based on the image you see, imagining the context and the characters that might be involved. Or if you're a visual artist, you can try experimenting in the style of another painting or using the color scheme as a jumping-off point for your own work. Number 5. Invent impossible objects. This exercise in innovation works for a variety of creative mediums and can also be used as a general brainstorming session for any person or team, even in fields like science and technology, to get the creative juices flowing. Just choose 2 objects at random, or ideally work with a partner and you each choose one. Then you set a timer for 5 minutes and you try to figure out how to combine them to make a new invention. If you're a visual artist, try drawing it. If you're a writer, write the instruction manual or TV ad copy describing it. The combinations are endless. Here's an example: a record player and a mixing bowl. As the record spins, it moves a whisk around the bowl, essentially becoming a musical blender. This can help a baker maximize their time by enjoying music or an audiobook while they make their next delicious dessert. Number 6. 10 ideas in 10 minutes. This exercise also uses a timer. Putting a time constraint on yourself can provide a little urgency and incentive to think quickly and creatively. Think of a problem, real or fictional. For example, how do we make electric vehicle ownership more affordable? Or how do we build a society on a planet with less gravity? Or if you can't come up with a problem on your own, look one up online. The news is rife with issues these days for you to choose from the ridiculous and minor to the grand and dire. Then you set a timer for 10 minutes and write out or draw or otherwise create 10 possible solutions. The time constraint forces you to think wildly. There's no such thing as a bad idea in this game. This exercise helps you to not only be creative, but also helps you feel positive, powerful, and productive. With this attitude, you'll be ready to tackle even the toughest project. Number 7. Complete the picture. You can use a prompt book for this one or create your own. Start with a single doodle, then add a 1-sentence prompt. You could grab it from a book, a magazine, or even try a song title or lyric picked randomly from your music streaming service of choice. Then, in 2 or 3 minutes, complete the picture using the doodle based on the prompt. You could be answering a question, or solving a problem, or showing the next part of the story. You might even find a way to make it funny or ironic. Be as weird, funny, poignant, or philosophical as you'd like. Let your emotions and your imagination guide you. Number 8. Turn up the music. Musicians aren't the only ones inspired by tunes. All creative types can benefit from listening to music. But rather than just passive listening, this time try playing a song and then making up a story to go along with it. Who's the cast of characters? What are their names, and how do they relate to each other? What happened to them that inspired this song? Or if you don't want to get specific with a story, you can simply start jotting down or even drawing what ideas pop into your head while experiencing this piece of music. You might just end up creating the opening passage of your next great story. Number 9. Express your gratitude. Writing a daily gratitude list is usually seen as a form of mindfulness or even meditation. You use it to pause and appreciate some of the things that make your life worth living. Some are big and some are small. Maybe you're grateful for the opportunity to savor a steaming cup of coffee every morning in your sunny kitchen. Or perhaps you're thankful for the loving support of your uncle, particularly recently when you went to him for career advice. You'll notice both of these examples were rather specific. Try your best to get as detailed as possible to help dial in to the exact emotion while also stretching your brain to use descriptive language. In this way, a gratitude list can also be a creative exercise. Plus, doing it every day and never allowing yourself to repeat an item can force you to get more and more creative over time. An optimistic and positive brain is more receptive to creative inspiration. Number 10. Dictionary or encyclopedia story? Fresh out of ideas? Resource books are your friend. Turn to a random page in a dictionary or an encyclopedia, then pick an entry and start writing, drawing, or creating a piece of art that incorporates that word or item. Or go online and use one of the many free random word generators. For example, in the dictionary, you turn to the S section and you see the word snap. Now, write a story in which the first sentence uses that verb. A character could be snapping their fingers, or snapping a sheet while folding laundry, or snapping at a colleague in frustration. And just like that, you have the beginning of a story.